Hey there, welcome back to my tiny shop. Harbor Freight has been giving away these 18-inch magnetic holders this weekend. I was able to snag 2 of them, and let me just finish a quick install. In a small shop like this, you have to take every advantage of every space. So I like these little magnetic holders, and and I'm trying to sprinkle them all over the shop right now. So I was glad to see this thing. Or at least I was glad to see the notification this weekend. There we go. And voila. Easy peasy. Now, I have a bunch of these small wrenches that keeps getting in my way. And I thought, what a better place to put it. Again, in a small shop like this, you have to take advantage of every inch of space. Voila. Anyway, this week we're interrupting our normal programming. Seems to be full of interrupts. There's one right there already. Because my wife said she needs something. Apparently, the shoe box that we have in our front door is overflowing, and she needs more space. And you know what happens when your wife says she needs something, it means yesterday. I had a nice build originally planned for this week, so unfortunately you'll just have to wait one more week for that particular build, okay? So let's go. This was the first shoebox I built, 12 slots. And to be fair, I'm a guy. I only need 2 pairs of shoes, a dress shoes and a running shoes. How was I supposed to know 12 slot wasn't nearly enough for the rest of the family? Next, I built the big one, 25 slots. A perfect 5x5 grid, shoes neatly stacked in rows and columns. Honestly, I thought, all right, this is it. We're set for life. Turns out, life had other plans. My son got a girlfriend. Suddenly, 25 slots didn't go as far as I thought. Today's project is a quick modification. Not a whole shoebox this time, but a clever add-on to squeeze just a little bit more capacity out of the ones we already have. So step 1, plywood. And here's the challenge. A full 4x8 sheet just doesn't fit in my tiny shop. I can barely turn around in there, let alone wrestle something this big. So anytime I need to cut plywood, the operation has to move outside. This is actually a good opportunity for me to show you how I cut sheet goods. I start with the borer centipede, basically a folding work table that pops up in seconds. On top of that goes a sheet of foam insulation. The foam gives me perfectly flat surface and lets me cut all the way through without damaging the centipede or dulling my blade. And because it supports the whole sheet, nothing sags or binds while I'm cutting. And the other big thing, the borer gets the plywood off the ground. Trust me, my knees aren't what they used to be. Crawling around in the driveway trying to cut plywood flat on the concrete, those days are way behind me. Then comes the track saw. If you ever tried to shove a 4x8 sheet across a table saw with a small shop, you know it's like wrestling a mattress through a doggy door. Not fun at all. With the track saw, I put down the guide, drop the saw in place, and just run it along a straight and accurate line. No wrestling match required. Of course, cutting plywood makes a lot of dust. And since I don't want my backyard looking like a snowstorm, I hooked up a portable vacuum. It doesn't catch everything, but it keeps most of the cloud under control. And it keeps the neighbors from wondering if I'm starting my own sawmill. Out here, I'm only making rough cuts, just breaking down the sheet into pieces that I can actually carry. Once I get them inside, I'll trim them to the final size on the table saw. So it's always a 2-step process. Rough cut outside, finish cut inside. Oh yeah, I probably look a little ridiculous out here. Plywood, foam board, saw, vacuum, like a one-man traveling circus. But this setup is the only way I can work with sheet goods in a shop this small, and honestly, saves my back and my knees every time. Now it's time to cut the edge panels that will act as the new feet for the shoebox. These are basically the side supports that everything else will tie into. Next, I cut a rabbet along the back edge. This groove will hold the rear stretcher, which ties the 2 feet together and keeps the whole base from shifting side to side. Think of this as the spine of the frame. Next, I cut another rabbet along the top edge. This one is for the upper stretcher. When the shoebox sits on top, this stretcher will help carry the weight and make sure the load transfers evenly into the legs. And finally, I notch out the front. This is a 2-inch cutout where a thicker stretcher will sit. That front stretcher is the piece that resists racking or twisting, and it really locks the whole assembly together. It's kind of the muscle of the frame. Oh, and here's a quick tip. Tape both of your panels together. They will stay together during cutting, and that also ensures that both your notches are evenly put in the right place. So this is where the footage disappeared. So instead, I created this beautiful fire animation for your entertainment. Just pretend my dog ate the clips. But here's what actually happened. I glued it up, tacked it together with brad nails, dropped the top and the back stretchers right onto the rabbets, and set the front stretcher onto the notch. Nice part is the rabbets and the notch basically self-align everything, so assembly is pretty straightforward. Just make sure you clamp it well while the glue sets. The rabbets do most of the work of keeping everything square, and that's all it takes. And now, let me take you on a nice little tour of my painting tent. It sits outside my shed, and it basically collapses whenever it's not needed and pops up when it needs to be. And here is the final build of the feet. So time to install. Here's me lugging the new base through the living room. And yeah, it's heavier than it looks. And another thing I forgot during assembly, I forgot to add a center foot for extra support. So here I am struggling to add it in. Then came the workout, lifting the old shoebox into the new feet. Next time, I'm calling my son and his girlfriend for backup. And finally, attaching it to the shoebox. So mission accomplished, a little bit more breathing room for my family's ever-growing shoe collection, or pile, whatever you want to call it. I didn't really rebuild the whole shoebox, I just kind of lifted it up a little bit and created almost a little basement for my shoebox. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a small changes to actually improve on something you've done before. So keep that in mind when you're tackling another problem. So this week's video is very different from what I normally do. But don't worry, I have a nice video planned for next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. If you enjoyed this one, please give me a like and a subscribe button. Really helps out a small channel like mine. And if you want to see other builds that I've done, please click on these other links on the screen today. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.